What is good, YouTube? This is your boy Aaron, and we are back for another video. And today I'm with my co-host Brian. What's up, Brian?
Nothing much, man. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. It might be today when they see this video, but we got football, food. What more can you ask for?
You got a good slate of games as well. And surprisingly,
For
for the
once,
first
for
time,
once.
you, there's a lot of intrigue. There's a lot of storylines with all three games. You got a division rivalry between Packers and the Lions trying to get number one in their divisions, respective divisions, and also trying to make the playoffs. Because you got to remember the Lions are out of the playoff picture right now, so they're trying to get in the playoffs and take the Packers spot if they indeed were to only be able to get to the wild card. So that's an intriguing storyline. And then you have the Chiefs and the Cowboys, two teams that are fighting for their playoff lives on different conferences. And you got Mahomes, you got Dak, you got a high-powered offense of the Cowboys, and you got the Chiefs that are trying to hang on thread for life. And then the final game, you got news that Joe Burrow is potentially going to come back Thanksgiving against the Baltimore Ravens, a division rival that we've seen a lot of really great games from these two teams when Joe Burrow is healthy. He has Jamar Chase, he has T. Higgins. So that should be a lot of fun as well. And as we all know, the Baltimore Ravens, they're fighting for their playoff lives at this moment, considering how they started the season and how they've been on a win streak ever since. And they are, I think they're tied with the Steelers right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they the record is tied, but I
Division
think,
record.
yeah. No, I think the
So,
overall record is tied, but they're in first place. The Ravens are in first place.
the Ravens are in first place. So they're right there with the Steelers to try to win the AFC North. And I believe there's only going to be one team that makes the playoffs. And so it's very imperative that the Ravens win this game. So, man, this Thanksgiving slate, huge ramifications, huge playoff ramifications going forward. I can't wait to see it on Thursday. But before we get to the Thursday night game or Thanksgiving games, when we give our predictions, I want to go to this past week's game, these past week games, excuse me. It's a lot to unpack because so many different games, so many close games, so many storylines. But we got to go to your team first. We got to go to the Eagles versus the Cowboys because this is a game where it was a lot of back and forth. Some people thought, the Eagles are going to win this game. Some people thought, the Cowboys are going to play upset. The people that bet Cowboys plus 2.5, that was I bet they are smiling right now because that was a great bet. I picked the Cowboys this game. I don't know if you picked Did you pick the Cowboys, Brian? Or you picked the Eagles?
I picked the Cowboys. Matter of fact, I did so good this week. I got every single game correctly. A
Really?
perfect 14-0 on predictions.
Are you wow? Oh, okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. But
Hit
anywho,
an 8-legger too for plus like
yeah.
1,000 odds, but so make some
But
money, make a little money.
yeah. But to go back to this whole conversation about the Cowboys and Eagles, um, this game to me boiled down to one thing, and that was before the game, the news about Lane Johnson, him being out for 4 to 6 weeks with that injury. I felt like that injury was so significant that it tipped the scale for this game, in my opinion. That's why I picked the Cowboys because a game like this where the Eagles offense is already struggling, you're missing arguably your best offensive lineman, your left tackle, when you have a struggling offense to begin with. I think this is a perfect opportunity for the Cowboys to take advantage. And considering they traded for Quentin Williams, they remember they got Kenny Clark, they got all these guys back from injury. Uh, I just thought the Cowboys, this is their game to have it. First game, they nearly beat the Eagles. The second game, they're at home. It's a big game against their rival. Dak has beaten the Eagles before. It's not like he struggled against them in the past. I thought this was a perfect opportunity. what was your assessment of the game, Brian? How did you feel about your Cowboys winning? And talk a little bit about the Eagles as well. What did you notice? And about Jalen Hurts specifically, and Saquon
Okay.
Barkley because he didn't run the ball as good as well either.
Yeah, great. Man, I'll start with the Eagles first because they were the losers in this ordeal. You go up 21 points in the first quarter, and then for 41, 42 minutes, however many it was, you don't score a single point for the rest of the game. You just asking to lose. And that offense, like, even I'm gonna be honest, I thought the game was over when they went up 21-0 because I'm just used to be like, oh, the Cowboys, another blowout Cowboys lost, same crap, different toilet. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, the Eagles ain't not even playing all that good. Like, we literally was beating ourselves. We had a turnover. We had penalties that would extend the drive for the Eagles, like that one, the roughing the kicker, one for the punter penalty, even though they messed up that call because he actually tipped the football before he ran into the punter. Another holding that extended the drive for the Eagles, and they ended up scoring a touchdown. Like, it was just self-inflicted wounds. But I never felt like they were truly just downright out executing us or outplaying. Like, I felt like in the back of my mind, I had the small like hope that, oh yeah, we could come back and win this game. And they did. That's why I kept watching it. Usually I'll be like, man, I'm turning this off. It's 21-0 against the division rival. I don't want to see this. But then they came back. They scored before the half. They came back out the half, scored. Well, actually, they didn't really score till like the end of the third quarter to cut it down to 21-14. But then we got some turnover luck. We forced two fumbles. Saquon fumbled, and then the Xavier Gibson fumbled on a kick return. So that was huge plays right there. That really shifted the whole momentum of the game. And in my opinion, that Xavier Gibson fumble where Elijah Clark came down and made the hit, that was probably the play of the game in my opinion. And that was just a fun game. I had a headache after it. I needed to lay down, but that was one of the better wins you can ask for from a new coaching regime and a team that's trying to establish a culture and try to get rid of the old ways of the previous regimes and stuff like that. The Eagles, it's hard. It's tough because they're a good team, but they just do stuff like this. And Super Bowl caliber teams do not have these kind of stains on their armor when you blow a 21-point lead, when you had the game in control. All you had to do was just run the ball efficiently. You couldn't even do that. Saquon, I believe, had 22 yards. Not
Yeah,
22
on
yards.
10 carries.
He had 22 yards for real?
Yeah, on 10 carries. Yep.
That's terrible. That is terrible. And this was from a team, remind you, before the trade deadline, we was giving up, we was like 28th in yards allowed on the ground. So you would think the one thing they could do was run the football. I know you don't got Lane Johnson, but it didn't matter what the other teams' O lines had before in the previous weeks. Anybody was running the ball on us. Shoot. So I'm not trying to hear that. The Eagles have a very, very big problem on offense. They have an offensive identity problem. What would you say is the Eagles' strength offensively this year?
Um, Shoot, I don't know. That's a great
Exactly.
question. They don't
They
have a
don't
strength.
have one. It's like if they can't just flat out talent you, then you really have no reason to like super fear the Eagles offense. Like AJ Brown is a dude, Saquon a dude, all Devontae Smith. AJ Brown had a really good game, but guess what? It didn't matter because when they needed to get points, they couldn't. It's not like the Cowboys and the Quentin Williams, man. He's such a freaking monster, man. I'm so glad they made that deal, even though we may not see the full payout of it this season. Next season is on. Is back. We is backing on, but the Eagles, it's crazy because I'm not even sure what to say about them that we haven't said these past 12 weeks or so about them. Like these are literally the same issues we've talked about since the beginning of the season, and we are in week 13, and there it's the same problems. Nothing has changed. No adjustments were made. They got on the post game interviews talk about some. Oh, they've been running the 5-man fronts, and we ain't really practiced or seen that. We've been running 5-man fronts way before the trade deadline because we literally had to because we couldn't get pressure. So I'm not, to stop the run. We was running the 5-man fronts to stop the run. It just so happens that Quentin Williams fit that scheme perfectly, and this is the results of that. But that something's wrong in Philly. I feel like you got to hold some people accountable. But the thing is, you can't really at 8-3, you can't justify firing anybody or letting go of anybody, especially at this point of the season. The ship has long sailed on that one. So unless Nick Sirianni going to take over play calling duties, which he's not, because he doesn't do anything, the Eagles just gonna have to hope they can luck into a run, or the offense just somehow randomly just, oh, we know how to play football now. But I tell you what, the Eagles, I didn't think they were the number one team in the NFC. They for sure ain't now. More like 3.
No.
Because this type of stuff is how you going to lose. They're going to lose in the playoffs because of that offense. It's not even going to be the defense. Because the defense, they spotted you 21. I mean, shoot, the defense was pivotal in getting them 21 points. You score 21 points and they have 0. You expect to win the game. You can't even blame the defense on that one for the Eagles.
They were shut out in the second half. They didn't score a single point, not a single field goal in the second half.
They could have, but Jake Elliott missed the field goal.
It's true, yeah.
And
self-inflicted one.
Here's the thing with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a good QB, but it's games like this that show you that there's a difference between what one QB is playing and the other QB is playing. Eagles are getting to the line with like 7 seconds left on the clock. They're not really making any checks, any adjustments. While Dak is getting to the line, 12 seconds left on the play clock, and he's directing traffic. He's doing all this other stuff behind the line. He's making checks, adjustments, and all that stuff. And it's like he's in full command of the offense, whereas Jalen Hurts is like he's just running the offense. He goes out there, he calls the plays. If it works, it works. If it don't, oh well. Now I don't know if they're giving him the liberty to do all that stuff because they don't get much time left in the play call before the play is even time to be snapped. But it's a completely different. It's night and day. You cannot watch those games and think, oh yeah, that guy in green was better than the guy in white. No, are you crazy? And even with the turnover, Dak still had a better game. So I don't know, man. It's Eagles got real identity issues, and that's going to be the reason why they don't make a deep playoff run, in my opinion. Now, could they prove me wrong? Sure. I hope they don't, but I don't see it personally. Now, on the Cowboys side of things, like I said, this was a great win. Always good to defeat a division opponent. Don't matter if they 8-3, 2-8. It literally doesn't matter. That was a good win. It shows something that I haven't seen from previous regimes of Cowboys coaching, and is that toughness, resilience, and the ability to not completely crumble when things got tough. The defense, for the first time this season, gave you some breathing room. They got 8 stops in a row. That is a lot to ask for from a defense, especially a defense that is still ranked in the bottom 25 of the league as it stands. So them doing that, them able to be in there and say, look, we're down 21-0. We could just roll over and just go to the next week and season's over. But they said, no, we're going to buckle down. We're going to play defense. They know they ain't really whooping us for real. It's just football stuff happening. So for them to have that mentality and for the offense to respond as well, that's a great win. Brian Schottenheimer, that is a good signature win for you, for the head coach. And that's pretty much what I got to say. Oh, CD. Oh, my goodness. People been cooking CD all week. I should cook them as well. Actually, I am going to cook them. CD Lamb, let me tell you something. You are making $34 million to play the sport we love called football. And you mean to tell me you can't catch the ball? I'm sorry. As it stands right now, George Pickens has been the number one wide receiver on this team this year. The stats prove it. And when the moment and when it was time to make a play, he proved it then too. George Pickens catches everything. He catches some stuff you probably think he shouldn't catch. He's violent. He's violent after the catch. It's hard to get him on the ground. He's tough. And yeah, he may got some issues, but shoot, he only got two unsportsmanlike penalties this season. One was after he scored a touchdown. I don't care about them 15 yards. So, CD, you need to get your act together because we know you're an all-world talent. You were literally crowned a top 3 wide receiver in the entire NFL coming into the season. And it's not like you're getting locked up. You're open. You just can't get. You must be in your head. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you're feeling the pressure of George Pickens' emergence or what. But whatever it is, you got to get it under control, my guy. Because like Brian Schottenheimer said in the post-game interview, he said, expect a lot of balls to go 88 way. So if you ain't ready against the Chiefs, I'm going to just tell you straight up, Dak ain't going to throw the ball to you. Because George Pickens, he's showing up.
George Pickens, D-O-G.
He's a dog. He is a dog.
He's a dog.
He's exactly what this team needed on that offense. Some dude with some attitude, some dude that's going to step up in a moment. And even you would think the person that would be crashing or being dejected going down would be George Pickens based on the media narratives, but it was CeeDee Lamb. He looked like his puppy was dying. When I was watching the sounds from the sideline, when they was making the comeback, they barely even showed him on the screen. So, like I said, 88, I trust you because last year you thugged it out. The season was dejected, but you wasn't pouting. You wasn't doing none of that extra stuff. You don't know what changed this year. So, we gonna need to get you right. But that offense is legit, man. That offense, let me tell you something. If this defense can continue to play like they have been the last 2 weeks, they can win against literally anybody. Now, the real test for the team will be obviously against the Chiefs this week and against the Lions on next Thursday because that Lions offense is still loaded with talent. And Frank Ragnow just came out of retirement. What are the odds?
Yeah. What are the odds?
Packers and Cowboys playing the Packers. Cowboys and the Packers coming to town. Let's the all-pro center come out of retirement. Whatever.
That's funny. Man. Yeah. You made a lot of great points. This Eagles team, I don't know what they can do from now on. I think that they're just gonna have to wait until the offseason to make moves. New offensive coordinator or something, a new identity on offense, because at this moment, as you talked about with Jalen Hurts and his inability to just, I don't know, change up plays to just decipher defenses pre-snap, post-snap, the offense has just not been productive at all from pretty much almost the start of the season to where we are now. So I think this is going to be the theme of the Eagles offense for the remainder of the season. And it's funny because we said this in 2023 when Shane Steichen was gone. It was some of the same old things, but at least they were able to get some points to push the ball down the field a little bit. I mean, A.J. Brown still had a productive year, but it seems like this year they have really regressed, even worse than what happened in 2023. And I'm wondering, will they win a playoff game? When they get to the playoff, they win the division. Are they going to win the playoff game? Because I'm just wondering, with this offense, the defense is phenomenal, but like it can only do so much when your offense is as limited as it is and it's not producing points. Eventually, the defense is going to get tired. And we saw that with the Cowboys, that as soon as the offense continues to fail over and over and over again, you're bound to make mistakes. And that's what happened. And I'm wondering, can this Eagles team even win in the playoffs against, I don't even know what team. My team, I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see. Because let's say that they play Detroit in the playoffs. I might have to go with Detroit just for the simple fact because that offense.
Detroit couldn't move the ball at all against them. They looked horrible.
That is true. But now they got Ragnow back.
It's true because Jalen
You
Carter, Jordan, they was beating the brakes off them.
they were beating the brakes off. They were I ain't gonna lie. But like now you got Ragnow back. That's huge. And if they can get Kirby Joseph, as a matter of fact, their defense was actually playing pretty well against the Eagles that game a couple of weeks ago. If they can get they get Kirby Joseph back, get their guys healthy. I know we keep saying when they get their guys healthy, but like man, get to the playoffs. I know they lost in the regular season, but I'm just saying, like I just don't trust his offense when it matters most. And it's
I
it's
don't
funny
either.
because it's funny. We talked about this before, but like you, when it comes to records, right? Regular season records, people get all enamored with, oh my God, look at the record. But how are they winning? Is it impressive? What's their point differential? Because in the playoffs, it's one and done. So when I'm hypercritical about my Packers, even though, oh my God, they're 7-3-1, I'm very critical of the Packers because I know that doesn't matter how good your record is. In the playoffs, your flaws are going to get exposed. That record goes out the window. It doesn't matter if you have home field advantage or if you're the away team. Your flaws are going to get exposed. And when I look at this Eagles team, yeah, they're 8-3, but are they playing like an 8-3 team? I don't see it. I believe they're very fortunate. They've been very fortunate in certain games against limited offenses, against bad offensive lines, that they were able to get away with certain things. They were able to play the Rams early in the season where they were still trying to figure out their identity on offense. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with their defense being just hobbled and not very good, there's just some things that you got to really assess when it comes to these teams and their records, and not just say, "Oh my God, the record is so good. They're a winning football team. They got to be good." Not necessarily, not necessarily. And I think with this Eagles team, when the playoffs roll around, a lot of the things that we're seeing, a lot of things that they were getting away with because of their amazing defense, are going to get exposed. And I'm gonna put a period on that. We can move on. Um, yeah, let's move on to another really good game that happened this weekend. And we were talking about this weeks ago with a Colts fan. I believe he was a Colts fan who said, "Oh man, the Colts are the best." I think he said something to the realm of the Colts are the best team in the AFC. Um, just saying all this love about the Colts. And hold on, wait a minute. Let's see what they look like against Kansas City before we crown Daniel Jones and all these guys. And look what happened. They lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I was watching the game, and what I noticed, I'll speak on the Colts side of things, specifically the defense, because I didn't really watch the offense. I'll let you speak more of the offense, Brian. But the defense, I thought the defense played really well up until the very end. I thought, man, Lou Anarumo in that defense, it's like they knew every play from the Chiefs. It's like they knew every play call. It was crazy. Guys weren't able to really gain much separation from the Chiefs. Mahomes was very indecisive on some of the plays, and the pass rush was really rattling Mahomes, man. Like that pass rush was getting to Mahomes. I thought the defense played a phenomenal game up until the very end, where the Kansas City Chiefs came back, mostly because that offense for the Colts was just so bad. Um, Shame on the Colts for losing that game because they should have won that game.
They really should have.
And
Yeah.
speak on the offense for the Colts, and then we'll transition to the Chiefs offense because I have a lot to say on that too. Speak on that offense for the Colts.
The Colts offense is literally as good as Daniel Jones has been playing. He's not the guy to win you those type of games. When Jonathan Taylor, your number one weapon on offense, isn't having the game, you think he is. Daniel Jones, he didn't turn into a pumpkin per se, but he just didn't execute the plays that you need to. He's not the QB to win that kind of game. Like you need Justin Herbert probably wins that game, those type of caliber. And Daniel Jones just isn't that. And the Chiefs proved they was like, listen, it was a war of attrition. It was a who could make the plays when they matter the most, and it wasn't Daniel Jones because there's been plenty of times I'm like, man, the Colts dominated the time of possession, and they still they couldn't score. They couldn't manage to put points on the board. Couldn't even get in field goal range. And I know Steve Spagnuolo, he really locked in for this game, and it's just you just got to be better against the Chiefs. I get the Colts defense held up. They ended the bargain for most of the game. The Chiefs wasn't giving much to shoot. The first pass of the game was intercepted for Mahomes when pick six. What I mean, it's like once again the defense showed up, but the offense, where was y'all at? So yeah, it's just that, and that's the one thing about the Colts that is scary. That if you play against one of these more stout defenses, you can very much well just lose because the offense can't move the ball. And I'm gonna say earlier about a team in the AFC that I've said in the group chat. You might not have seen it, but the people haven't heard it yet. So I'm keeping it a tuck right now. It relates to the Colts though. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah. You make some valid points. This team runs runs through Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is the guy. He doesn't have a good game, and you're relying on Daniel Jones to lead the way. Then that's a problem. That's a very big problem. It all boils down to the running game, and when you shut down the running game, Daniel Jones is going to have a hard time trying to put on the Superman cape because he can't. He's Clark Kent. He ain't no Superman. And that's the thing with this Colts team. They have so much talent. They have an amazing play caller. They have wide receivers, really good wide receivers all around them. But the quarterback is the biggest question mark of this team. And I mentioned this before weeks ago to that Colts fan that at the end of the day, can Daniel Jones make the plays to win you the football game against good competition like the Kansas City Chiefs? And we haven't seen that in the biggest stage against the Chiefs on the road. They had the opportunity. Defense held up their end of the bargain. They really did a number on Kansas City on the line of scrimmage to the back end. The Travarius Ward, Sauce Gardner, these dudes were locking stuff down up until that fourth quarter where the Chiefs went on an amazing run, scoring 11 points. I'm telling you, this team just, for whatever reason, their chances to making the Super Bowl, it's going to boil down to Daniel Jones and can he make the plays to win this game? And unfortunately, it's looking like he ain't the guy to do it. It's looking like they're going to be a really good team. They're going to win 12, 13 games. But when the postseason arrives and you need Daniel Jones to make that play, that clutch play in the biggest of moments, he's not going to be able to do it because Jonathan Taylor, he doesn't have 100 yards and 5+ yards to carry. That's a problem. And that's the unfortunate truth in regards to the Colts.
Yeah, I'm looking at some numbers from the game. About to pull up the team stats. Hopefully, time of possession should be
time of possession. Chiefs dominate.
Actually, the Chiefs dominate time of possession, which is crazy because they only managed to get 23 points. But then again, why did they dominate time of possession? Let's look at the total plays. Colts 50, Chiefs 91. They almost doubled their plays because the Colts could not sustain drives.
Look at the first downs, 33 first downs, 10 first downs. Third down efficiency, 7 for 16 versus 5 for 13. total yards. The Colts, I meant the Chiefs nearly double their total yards.
Yeah,
It's simple. As simple as that. And then the passing yards is not even close. Like Mahomes versus Daniel Jones, like it's not even close. It's not even a discussion. So
yards
this
per
is this is
attempt
a problem.
as well.
This is a problem. And another thing that I gotta give Dan Orlovsky credit for mentioning this because I was watching it in the film after he pointed this out. But like I don't know why the Chiefs keep trying to run in shotgun. It's not working. It's not effective. When they
Tell them keep
run,
doing it against the Cowboys.
hey, when they run under center, that's when they become very effective in the running game. I don't know why they keep doing the shotgun unless it's like RPO or something like that, where they're trying to trick the defense into thinking it's a pass. But for the most part, this running attack, when they're running in shotgun, if they're not running under center, it is pretty much lackluster. And I believe when Kansas City plays the Cowboys, yo, Kareem Hunt and those boys, Isaiah Pacheco, I better not see any plays. I better see minimal plays in shotgun because if not, Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, and those boys, Osa Ozigizua, them boys are going to get after that running attack because it just seems like for whatever reason, the Kansas City team, their offensive line in the run game, they can't run block that much. And
Nope.
I want to say that I want to say this. Matter of fact, no, I'll let you cook. You were going to mention something about the Colts. You were going to compare them to some team, I think it was.
No. Here's what I said. I had a take. It's about a different team, but in the
Oh,
Colts
okay.
division. And I was going to say, I believe there's one team that pretty much no team wants to match up with come January. And it is fellow AFC South team, the Houston Texans. That defense is so vicious and they just fly to the ball. Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter are just monsters coming off that edge. I don't think anybody wants to see them come January because we all know this is the first 2 years of D'Amico Ryan's tenure. They knocked off the Chargers and they knocked off the Browns in the playoffs. So they already know that once January comes, they are built for January football. When, especially the defense, at the very least, is built for January football. Now, the only thing that's iffy about them is C.J. Stroud's health. Now, if C.J. Stroud can come back healthy and the line can actually block decently, I think if they were to match up versus the Colts, I would take the Texans in that matchup.
Ooh, ooh. Oh my
Matter of fact, I
goodness.
would go so far to say I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans were in the AFC Championship game because I
Whoa.
believe that defense is that good.
They got to make the playoffs first.
I think they will.
You do realize they in the dog fight for the final playoff spot, right?
Ooh.
It's the Chiefs.
So it's between the Chiefs and the
The Texans and the Jags, I think it is.
Jags. Not a believer. I think they're going to fold eventually. Um, I think there's a. Is there? Let me look at the AFC playoff picture right quick. AFC.
Guess who the Texans play in 2 weeks?
They play the Colts, right?
No, they play the Chiefs.
That's going to be interesting.
They played them on December 7th.
That's very interesting. I'm gonna be I'm gonna
It
be I'm
is.
gonna be I'm gonna be watching that one. Okay, so we looking.
Yeah.
So the Jags are currently. Oh wait, no, this might be a little out. This is a week old. Where's the newest one? Man, I can't find it. The newest playoff picture. But either way, I
I'm
really
looking
like
at it
it. I
right
really
now.
like it. All right, okay. Can you list out the seeding because the one I got is
I'm on
clearly
I'm on
outdated.
I'm on ESPN. I'm on ESPN right now. But so right now the final two spots are Jackson. Well, I'll go final three spots because you have the Chargers at 7-4. You have Jaguars are 7-4. You have the Bills at 7-4, and the Bills are the final playoff spot. And then in the hunt right now is the Texans, the Steelers, and the Chiefs. And the Chiefs are the 10th spot. The Steelers have the advantage because of the division record. They're 2-1 in the division, and in conference they're 5-2. The Chiefs are 3-4 in conference. That's a problem.
Interesting.
Yeah, and to top it all off, the Texans are 5-2 in conference, and they're 3-1 in their division. So the Chiefs, they have a lot of picking up to do because
I think
at this very moment, Steelers, the Texans, they're ahead of him.
the Jaguars are going to collapse, and then the Texans will slide in and steal their playoff spot.
Let's see.
But
Jags had Tennessee, they had the Colts, they had the Jets, Denver, Colts again, Tennessee.
dang, man, the Titans might save them. Them Titan games might save them. 10 wins probably gets you into the AFC.
I don't know. The way it's looking right now, it's a lot of really good teams in the AFC. The 5, 6, and 7 spot. You might have to win 11 games, depending on the Chargers situation in the fifth. Because I think the Chargers and Bills are automatically going to make it. So it's one more spot up for grabs, and I think 11. You might have to win 11 games to get in, especially with the Chiefs' lack of wins in their division and conference. They're probably going to have to win 11 games.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, come January, I wouldn't take none of them teams ahead of the Chiefs in the matchup.
That's an interesting take.
I refuse to go against Mahomes in January. I just can't do it anymore. I learned my lesson.
Can we talk about the Chiefs? Can we talk about the Chiefs now? Because I got some things to say about the Chiefs.
Please talk about the Chiefs.
So they won the game. Kudos to them. Like I mentioned before, like Dan Orlovsky said, he said when they went under center, Kareem Hunt in the running game was very effective, and also when they were doing more crossing routes, it was really effective, especially Rashid Rice, and I think Xavier Worthy may have gotten free as well. That really propelled them to get their offense going. But dog, I'm sorry, this team, they won. They beat a really good team in the Colts, but I'm concerned. Patrick Mahomes, he looked. I would say the word to describe Patrick Mahomes in this game is indecisive. He was very just hesitant on throws, on reads. There was just certain times where I felt like he could have let it loose. I think he had Kelsey. It looked like a potential touchdown to Kelsey, and he just elected to check it down. There was other times where he got out of the pocket too soon and ran and just scrambled. And I believe part of that is because I don't think he trusts his offensive line. Maybe that was just the Colts game because they have a really good pass rush. But he did not trust his offensive line this game. And part of the reason is because I think the Chiefs' offense, that offensive line, I don't think they can consistently hold up when they're running a play and the routes take a very long time to progress, which is why I believe early in the season, this offense was so limited and so just lacking any explosive plays to a certain extent, partially because of Patrick Mahomes' inability to accurately hit big plays, but also because I just think this offensive line isn't good enough. And that's a problem because the left tackle was getting cooked the entire game. Other guys were getting cooked the entire game, and Patrick Mahomes on some plays where they're trying to take a shot downfield. He doesn't have enough time because the offensive line is getting cooked by Latu or DeForest Buckner or one of these guys. I think this is a major problem. And come playoff time against an elite defense, as long as whoever's the quarterback of the team with the elite defense, if they can minimize mistakes and have a good running game, I just don't see how the Chiefs can consistently win. Because this offense, dude, like it boils down to the offensive line. And if your offensive line can't consistently block passing and running, it you're not going to win much in the playoffs. They got away with it because Patrick Mahomes he, he he continues to do magic when it matters most. But I didn't think Patrick Mahomes had a good game. I thought Patrick Mahomes was very mediocre for a lot of this game. But he just so happened to come up big in the fourth quarter and overtime because he's Patrick Mahomes and he's very talented. I'm very excited. I don't know about you, but like the way this team is looking, there's a reason they're 6-5. There's a reason they're 10th seed. It's because their old line is just not the same. It's very shaky, and they need to figure out something because right now it's not
Yeah,
simple.
I'm not very impressed with their offensive play calling personally, and the fact that they don't really have a running game is another thing. Where now you're just putting everything on Pat's shoulders, and he's throwing the ball so many times, and yeah, it's definitely got some issues. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they really couldn't move the ball or really hit pay dirt against the Cowboys tomorrow. I mean, I really wouldn't be surprised at that, but yeah, this is really Mahomes a bust out there at this point. Or no, for the offense, it's Mahomes a bust. The defense is all it's the defense. You know, Chiefs. Steve Spagnuolo is going to field a good defense, but eventually your offense is going to have to put some points on the board. They dominated time of possession, only managed. They ran 91 plays and only managed 23 points. I mean, that's not ideal. Had 500 yards of total offense, pretty much. Only managed 23 points. Like that's a problem. That's not a winning formula.
I will say though, you make a good point on the play calling. The Colts did a really good job. It felt like they knew the plays before it even happened. Like for the for the most part of that game, the corners, the secondary, they were locking stuff down. Nobody was getting open for a lot of the times. And when they were getting open, the offensive line would break down, or Mahomes would be indecisive and just not hit the guy when he needed to, or he would look away. There was a play where like he should have went to his check down, but he elected to scramble instead of going to his check down. Or like I mentioned with Kelsey or Mahomes, he took a shot to Thornton, I think it was, in double coverage when he shouldn't have. So it's just so much. And then there, oh my God, remember the red zone drive towards the end of the first half where I believe he had an opportunity to get a touchdown to Rasheed Rice if the ball was more towards the sideline. I think it was. Like I think the ball was not accurately where it needed to be, and I think they had to kick a field goal if I'm not mistaken. But like that was one of the worst red zone drives I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes try to execute, in my opinion. Just watching Patrick Mahomes over the years, it just seems like to me, Patrick Mahomes, as talented as he is, after this season, he needs to get back to the basics. He really needs to get back to like the foundation because he's regressed, in my opinion. I just think it's been a roller coaster. Like he'll have some weeks where he looks like the MVP that we've seen before, and then he'll have these moments like these stretches where we're like, is this the same guy that we've seen win three Super Bowls and two MVPs? Like he just hasn't been consistently good this year. He hasn't been a top five QB this year. And to me, like I don't know how many times you can get away with these fourth quarter heroics from last year to even this year. It's bound to just fall on your face eventually.
Yeah, and shoot, it had happened already this season. That's why they got 5 losses.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're fighting for the wild card, which normally they will win. Normally we see them
Normally
a top two,
they
three.
be done had 10 wins already.
Is exactly even last year when they were winning one score games. Didn't they only lose like one or two games last year? And they won the
Yeah.
division like convincingly. Now it's coming back to bite them. Now they can't do the same thing because they don't have the talent. Guys are getting older. The hero ball stuff is just not connecting anymore because guys have caught up, teams have caught up to your talent much faster, much younger, much quicker and smarter teams. Now you're not the bully on the block anymore. You're the team that's getting bullied. People not fearing you no more. You used to be Debo on the block. Now people not scared of Debo no more. It's as simple as that. I don't know. They got to reinvent themselves.
They got to do
All
something.
right. Yeah, they got to do something. But I don't think that come playoff time, if they do make the playoffs, this is going to be the same team that we've seen in previous seasons, where all of a sudden the light bulb comes on and they flip the switch. I just don't think that's going to be the case. Just looking at their offensive line and play calls, even with Rasheed Rice and his wide receivers, if your trenches is not settled, if they can't protect consistently, you have no shot. If you can't do one thing well offensively, if you can't run the ball effectively, or you can't consistently throw the ball, you're not going to win much. You're not going to win much in the playoffs. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. Uh, let's put a period on that and move on to what else we got. Oh, so let's go to Chicago versus Pittsburgh. Uh, now I watched the all 22 of this game. I watched the Bears offense, because the Bears have been winning a lot of games. They're 8-3 right now, and I've been seeing all these facts about Caleb Williams. I don't know if it was PFF or Next Gen that put out this graphic about Caleb Williams and stuff, and people are praising him and stuff like that. So I'm wondering, okay, let me put my bias to the side and really assess, is Caleb Williams actually playing good, or are they just going up against bad competition, bad defense, or is this running game like super good? So I looked at the stat sheet, and number one, I'll give the Bears offense credit, mainly the passing attack. The running game wasn't very effective for them against the Steelers. So I'll give Caleb Williams credit. The fact that you were able to win a game with your running game not being all that effective is huge. But I have to say this. I'm still not moved by this offense, by this passing attack. I'm sorry. And it's because he still has a problem with accurately delivering the football consistently, on time, on rhythm. Look at his completion percentage. You'll say, oh my God, he threw for like 250 yards. But look at the completion percentage. Oh my God, he had 3 touchdowns for like 239 yards, 19 for 35 passing. That's good. Is that good?
Say it again.
I said he threw for 239 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, but 19 for 35 passing. So he only completed 19 passes for 35 attempts. Is that good to you? I'm just saying.
No.
Exactly. And when you watch the film, that stat, it shows itself because he was incredibly inaccurate. And the reason why he was able to get some of these touchdowns, bro, the Steelers defense, that passing defense is terrible. It's just terrible. Like one of the touchdowns to DJ Moore, I believe this was
He was wide open.
Bro, was that the play that the guy was talking about in the press conference where he was like, "Why are you running cover three or something like that?" Because I
Yeah,
think they were running cover three in
they
that
were
play when freaking DJ Moore was
right up the
wide
seam.
open in the middle of the
Yep.
field. I'm like, bro,
They were in
what
full
are we
verts,
doing?
and boom, that's what happened.
This is what I'm talking about. So he didn't necessarily. That wasn't like a difficult throw or difficult read to make or anything. Like, no, that was easy. It was just bad Steelers. And yes, Caleb, they're winning games. He's not turning the football over. But dude, I think there was a stat on Twitter. I saw somebody post. It was like the Bears are like one of the worst teams like of all time in DVOA with whatever the hell that stands for. You probably know what that stands for.
It stands for defense. Oh, I literally, because we had a guest on the show that he literally was the creator of DVOA. Defense adjusted value over average. Pretty much how consistent a team's defenses is on each down. Well, actually, it's a team success based on the down and distance of each play during the season. Then calculates how
I
much
mean,
more or less successful each team is compared to the league average. So basically, how good is a team on a down to down basis?
and the Bears are good. They're not that good. And then I don't know what the point differential is, but I heard
It's
it's not even
negative
that good
three.
either.
It's -3.
Bro,
An
bro,
8-win team has a -3 point differential.
like, and the teams that they face. I saw the record of the combined, just the combined record of the teams that they face, and it's in the negative too. So yes, they're 8-3. Yeah, Caleb Williams not turning the ball over, but we got to be honest. We gotta we got to face the facts. This Bears team is incredibly flawed. And I picked the Steelers to win this game. I was wrong, but I was almost right for a reason. I said, you know what? I know Mason Rudolph is the quarterback. He's starting. It's not Aaron Rodgers. But I just saw the Bears like weeks ago lose to Tyler Huntley led Baltimore Ravens team. The Steelers got a shot, and they nearly won the game. Nearly won the game. I think the Bears gave the ball back to the Steelers at one point, and the Steelers had an opportunity to win the game, and they just couldn't do it because they have Mason Rudolph as a quarterback. This is what I'm talking about. I know I sound like a hater, but I'm just giving you facts. Like this team, kudos to Ben Johnson. He's probably going to win Coach of the Year, considering what transpired last year. And now they're 8-3, and if they make the playoffs, that's an amazing accomplishment given the circumstances, given the fact that Caleb Williams is still very limited as a quarterback. Matter of fact, if you take away his first read and you keep him in the pocket, that's the game right there. Just take away his first read, keep him in the pocket. Easier said than done, but that's all you really got to do and make him think. If you make him think, it's going to be a problem. But regardless, um, that's just my thoughts on the Bears.
I mean, I mean, we pretty much share like some of the same sentiments. Like, I think the Bears are fraudulent. I mean, Ben Johnson is doing magic over there, but their style of winning is going to catch up to them. It's going to catch up to them, especially in January. Have y'all haven't played them this year? Have you?
No, we played them. I think after the Lions game, we played them. So like a
Mm,
week and a half.
Week 14. Okay. Hey man, they gonna be in for a rude awakening. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I will never put my faith in a team that has a negative point differential with the 8-3 record. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
As long as you can keep Caleb Williams in the pocket and just eliminate his first read. Simple. It's simple. Just do that. And if you can eliminate the running attack and put everything on the shoulders of Caleb Williams, you got it. You got him. Like dead set to right. You got them. Because Caleb Williams is not going to consistently deliver the football in tight coverages. He's not going to be on time consistently enough with his receivers. So that just an elite defense like that, an elite defense will see that and they'll be like, okay, all we got to do is this, and this, and we got. And that's why I say this Chicago team, like, as the record, they're 8-3. Congratulations, but man, oh my goodness, if Caleb Williams, I know I'm getting to the future with this conversation, but boy, if Caleb Williams can't improve with his accuracy, the honeymoon phase that the media is trying to give Caleb Williams right now, I'm telling you right now, it's going to fall flat on his face. He's going to get destroyed in the media if he can't improve from this season, because he's getting very fortunate that he has a fourth place schedule and that he's going up against all of these teams that just are not very good. So that's my thoughts. It's really my thoughts.
You got anything to say about the Steelers?
Not really.
Me either.
I feel like this is more, the story is really more the Bears, because no Aaron Rodgers. I think we kind of know about the Steelers. We know how limited they are. The defense hasn't been all that impressive this entire season. People thought, oh my God, last week the defense is starting to figure it out, but I already knew, like, no, like that's just a smoke screen. Like, I don't believe in that. And they made it close because the Bears, I don't think their defense is all that great. I think it's a very middle of the pack defense, in my opinion.
They're opportunistic.
And they're not terrible, but they're not great. Like, you can score on them. And a backup QB like Mason Rudolph and a pretty decent running attack with Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren, they were able to do numbers on that team. I just think overall the Steelers kind of know what they are, and I think about to fall. They're about to fall out of the playoff picture because of the Rodgers injury and because of the Ravens' ascension. So there's not really much to say, honestly.
That's
All
where I'm
right,
at with it.
yeah. All right, let's move on to
A lot of
yeah, we gotta talk.
bad
We
games.
gotta talk about. Hold on. We gotta talk about this game. We gotta talk about it. It's our guy. It's our guy. Hey, I don't gotta watch on, but y'all understand what I'm doing. It's our guys. Shador first start against the Las Vegas Raiders. And what happened? Now, I picked Cleveland to win. I knew Shador was going to come out there and he's going to prove the world wrong, and he was going to make Kevin Stefanski look stupid. Now, I will say it's the Vegas Raiders, one of the worst teams in the NFL. But hey, if that was Dylan Gabriel, I don't know if he wins that game. I'm just saying. Dylan Gabriel, we saw what he was doing the past number of weeks, and he wasn't looking all that good. Shador come in, and you could just tell the vibe is different. There's just a sense of hope and enjoyment coming from that team. Like, there's a spark that they needed, and Shador seems to be that spark. Now, we'll see if he can sort of replicate that against, I think they play the 49ers next week,
Yep.
which is, ooh, yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to replicate that, but that's a different story. Let's just stay on week 12 real quick and celebrate, because Kevin Stefanski, who would have thought, the biggest hater, the biggest Shador hater is not any of his critics. It's not the media or any online haters. It's his own head coach. His own head coach is his biggest hater. this entire time. Who would have thought? We're like, who is it? Is it Andrew Berry, the only, what it seems like the only black guy on staff? Is it the owner? Is it who is the guy that's keeping Shador from getting any snaps? Oh my God. It's actually the head coach of the football team. The guy, the coach of the year, the supposed quarterback whisperer, offensive guru, Kevin Stefanski, a guy that hasn't really won much since he had Baker. Honestly, I know he went to the playoffs with Joe Flacco, but look how they look when they played against the Houston Texans. They got absolutely demolished. Um, the fact that it took this long to finally start Shador is just a testament of just how dysfunctional this organization is, how dysfunctional this head coach is, to be honest with you. The fact that he was so adamant of starting Dylan Gabriel week after week after week. I mean, Miles Garrett is on a historic run right now as an elite pass rusher, getting 5 sacks, 3 sacks here in a single game, getting triple team. He is carrying his team, making them competitive. And you say, you know what? We're going to continue to start Dylan Gabriel. And the only reason Shador is even starting is because Dylan Gabriel got hurt. Kevin Stefanski, hey, I'll turn it to you, but like Kevin Stefanski, after the season, I want him gone. I'm gonna be honest with you, because if Shador keep playing like this, we can't have a hater. We can't have his biggest hater be a head coach, and that's who his biggest hater is right now. Simple.
Um. Okay, so first I want to talk about the Shador performance. I say he played solid. He wasn't like great or anything, but he showed me more. That one throw he made down the field 50 something yards out the pocket on the move showed me was the best throw any Browns QB probably made this season. He showed me in that one play more than Dylan Gabriel has shown his entire seasons of starts or whatever. So I'll give Shador credit for that. He showed some flashes during that game. My probably Shador he's still holding on to the ball longer than he needs to. But I think once he gets that clock right, hopefully he'll get that under control. Once he gets more reps, he gets more used to NFL speed. He won't feel the need to hold on to the ball more. I remember that one play that he threw to Judy, who was wide open. He fumbled the ball, that somehow counts against Shador's EPA, which I think is BS, because how you penalizing the QB and the daggone wide receiver is the one that fumbled? He had nothing but green. He was all open space around him, and he ended up fumbling the ball. But yeah, I hope Shador continues to stack solid performances. The fact that they named him the starter for next week is a good thing. I don't know if Dylan Gabriel clear concussion protocol or not, but that doesn't matter. Shador, he's more than like just let him finish out the season. We've seen enough of Dylan Gabriel. Like he hasn't really showed us many flashes of anything. Um, super duper game manager Dylan Gabriel is, and yeah, I'm looking forward to Shador. 49 is going to be a tough match. Robert Saleh is definitely going to have some schemed up for him that he's probably going to be like, whoa. But watch. If he looks bad this week, you're going to hear everyone trying to take victory laps saying, we told y'all Shador isn't that good. Now realizing that the Browns offense still isn't good. Like Judkins is hurt. Like their number one wide receiver is Jerry Judy. Like, come on now. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, you make valid points, and I also want to mention you brought up Shador and potentially struggling, and that one interception he threw that
That
was
was
really
crazy.
bad.
That was
That was
crazy.
really bad, and that lets you know his youth and his lack of reps and his lack of just experience. So I'm a bit concerned when he plays San Francisco that he'll see similar things where the defense is trying to confuse him. They're trying to disguise certain things, and I just hope that he's able to pick up on that, not make the same mistake as he did the last time, because that was bad. That was really bad. And I know he's trying to anticipate certain things, and thought that, okay, this is the coverage, so I'm going to anticipate, I'm going to just throw it and not really think about it. And unfortunately, he was wrong. He read the coverage wrong, and that wasn't the right read in that instance. And the DB or linebacker, I forgot what it was, a linebacker or DB, jumped the route and intercepted the ball. You just can't do that. But
Nope.
fortunately, they have a really good defense. They got Myles Garrett, and the freaking Raiders are terrible on offense and not the greatest on defense. So he was able to overcome that, and they were able to win the game. So salute to Shador and the Cleveland Browns.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the Giants versus the Lions. This is a closer game than I expected. I thought the Lions would have a bigger lead than what they ultimately did. I didn't think that this game was going to go to overtime, but it effectively did. Wandale Robinson, man, like this, he's starting to he's starting to break out a little bit. Like he's been really killing it these past like number of weeks. He's starting to really become a solid receiver in the NFL. And when you pair him with Malik Neighbors, when Malik Neighbors goes back, ooh, that's a nice 2-1-2 punch. But anywho, the fact that the Lions were effectively in a band for band off with the New York Giants is a bit concerning, considering what we thought of the Detroit Lions coming into the season. But they won. Better team. Jameer Gibbs had himself a day, like 219 yards rushing. It's absurd. And I think that is the identity of the Detroit Lions going forward. It's just leaning more on that running game, leaning more on Jameer Gibbs. Um, Amon-Ra St. Brown, haven't looked at his stats yet. You probably know having him on fantasy, but he was pretty good as well. He had 149 yards, 9 receptions, 1 touchdown. Um, but yeah, man, like this was a dogfight. This was a close call, and they just James Winston. He he's James Winston. Like what do you expect him to do? But it was a close contest, and the Giants almost had it. They nearly beat my team. Like they were in the game with us, but hey, our defense still held them to 20 points. And the Detroit Lions, on the other hand, this defense was getting absolutely destroyed. And that's all I got to say on that matter, really. What was your thoughts on just the outcome of this game?
I thought the Lions would have thrashed them, but then I had to pause and think for a second. I'm like, the Giants don't really get blown out despite their record being what it is. They haven't really got like really blown out, only by like maybe a couple teams. They're really competitive. The defense, they have a lot of talent on that defensive line, so that's going to be tough for pretty much anybody. It was times I'm like, what is going on? What is Jared Goff doing out there? And Brian Burns and Abdul Carter was wrecking havoc on him. So yeah, but Jameer Gibbs came to save the day in a major way. The Lions defense, they're so weird because they will have good games like against the Eagles and they come out versus the Giants and give up 28 points and end up in overtime. They're a very odd unit. They have talent. They just the the performance is too volatile. I would be a little concerned if I was the Lions because having these type of shootouts, especially at home. Like you was at home and you let Jameis Winston come in, who did that to third string QB, second game starting the season, do that to you. That is not ideal. Um, but yeah, man, it's still a good win, I guess. You don't want to go to OT versus Giants. Trust me, I would know about going into OT with the Giants this year. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The jury is still out on the lines. I got to see how they do against y'all again this week. If they can't even up the series, then even up the season series, then I might have to stick a fork in them as serious
Mm,
contenders or contenders at all.
I think one thing that I take away from this game, I think Dan Orlowski said this on the Pat McAfee show. He was talking about the offensive line and how concerned he is on passing downs and how they can't consistently protect Jared Goff. It's like Jared Goff, he is a traditional pocket passer, and when the offensive line breaks down, he's not going to be able to scramble for first downs. He's not going to be able to roll to his left, roll to his right, and make magic and stuff like that. So that passing offense, it's going to be very difficult if they can't consistently protect. That's why Frank Ragnow is coming out of retirement because just the inconsistency on the old line. And I don't expect Frank Ragnow to play this Thursday. If he plays this Thursday, I will be completely shocked.
I
I'll be
don't
like,
think so.
what in the world is
He's
going
not
on?
even. There's no
But
way he's in football shape.
yeah, so this Thursday coming up, we'll get to this Thursday coming up. But like, boy, that offensive line, they got to play a lot better. And their identity right now is to lean more into that running game, play action off the running game. Um, with Dan Campbell taking over with play calling and stuff like that. Because the offensive line just at this moment they can run block, but man, pass blocking, it's just not the same as it once was. And they scored 34 points, but I don't know. I don't know. Against my team, good luck. Good luck trying to score 34 points against my team. I know the Cowboys did it one time, but after that, what other team has done that?
None.
You can't name one. None. So let's move on. Let's go to another NFC North teams. Green Bay versus Minnesota. Um, not the not the prettiest game. I'll say this, not the prettiest game in the world, and it's mostly because of the quarterback on Minnesota laying an egg on national TV, and that's JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy, he's not started. He is. I don't know if he's a backup QB. He's awful. He is awful. Like, the amount of inaccurate throws, the amount of turnovers that he commits, the amount of misreads, the amount of times he's just not on time with his receivers, it's egregious. And then the offensive line as well, it's just not good. Their offensive line has completely disintegrated since last year. It's unbelievable how bad their offensive line is. The running game can't really rely on Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason consistently. And I feel bad for Justin Jefferson because he's an elite receiver, and now cornerbacks feel like they're getting the best of Justin Jefferson when, in fact, the quarterback just really, really sucks. And because of that, the Packers, the entire rest of the game, play conservative ball. They realize, okay, JJ McCarthy, he can't move the ball down the field. He's going to make mistakes left and right. Let's play, keep away, let's play it safe, and let's just make sure that we can not turn the ball over. And as long as we don't turn the ball over, get into good field goal range, we'll win this game. That's exactly what happened. Only scoring 23 points, and the Minnesota Vikings scored 6 points. Jordan Love only had 139 passing yards. Emmanuel Wilson, our backup running back, had 107 yards on, I believe it was like close to 30 carries, which is absurd for a backup running back. But it was a very conservative play call. It reminds me of, I think the Rams did this early in the year, early in the season. They played a game. I think it may have been the Texans where Stafford didn't have like good like numbers in the box score, but they made sure to not commit mistakes, and they knew it was going to be a defensive battle the entire game. And as long as we protect the football and get enough points, like field goals and stuff like that, and run the ball effectively, we'll win this game. That's exactly what the Packers did. So, for the most part, for me as a Packers fan, I can't really take much away except JJ McCarthy is just terrible. And LaFleur just elected to, hey, we're just going to play it safe and we don't need to do much. Simple as that. What was your thoughts on the outcome of this game?
I really thought the Vikings were going to cover the spread. Boy, oh boy, was I wrong. JJ McCarthy is absolutely abysmal at QB. He is clearly not ready to play at the NFL level as it stands right now. He's horrible. He making Justin Jefferson look average out there, and people swore Justin Jefferson was QB proof until that guy that calls himself Nine joined the team, and that offense is putrid. I mean, good grief. And I'm starting to wonder, did he really get fully concussed, or this another soft benching situation? Because he has been sneaking up the joint so bad where it does. I wouldn't even blame Kevin O'Connor for putting that bull on the bench. He is like second to last is in EPA for QB since I believe 2002 or 2000, and the only person worse than him, Jamarcus Russell. So that's not good company to be in. And yeah, the Vikings, the org is probably kicking himself in the butt for just letting Sam Darnold walk for pretty much nothing and trading up picks to get JJ McCarthy. Ah man, what a disaster! What a disaster!
Love to see it. You love to see it. You love to see teams in my division making terrible mistakes, like they did. Decided to go with JJ McCarthy instead of Sam Darnold, a proven veteran. He's been in the league for some years now. That played really well in that Kevin O'Connell system. The fact that they elected to not go to Sam Darnold and to say, you know what, let's keep JJ McCarthy instead of just trading JJ McCarthy is just malpractice. Now, revisionist history, but it's just funny how some of these things work. And we pointed out the flaws of JJ McCarthy coming into the draft process, and now it's reaching this ugly head. And now we're seeing why it's very important that a college QB gets a lot of reps, throws a lot, gets a lot of attempts, and not relies so heavily on the running game and being a game manager. Because you're going to get instances like this where a guy that is not used to throwing the ball a whole lot is now thrusted into a position where he needs to throw the ball a whole lot. And he gets exposed. Now, he only threw the ball 19 times, but there's a reason why he only threw the ball 19 times. And it's because if he would have thrown the ball 25 times, it would have gotten even worse because he threw 2 interceptions and was sacked 5 times. So, Minnesota, I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but just it's just time. It's just time to, I don't know, give up. Just give
Back
up.
to the drawing board.
It's over. Back to the drawing board. It's one of those seasons where, like, your team is just it's just not there. It's just not there. So, anywho, um, moving on. I want to talk about the Rams versus the Buccaneers. This one was a one-sided affair. Uh, the Rams dominated from start to finish, 34-7. I mentioned this before, but I think the Rams are the best. Honestly, I think they're the best team in football. NFC, AFC, doesn't matter what conference they're in. The Rams are the best team in football from both sides of the field, offense, defense. Their trenches are phenomenal, offensively and defensively. They have depth. They're really good. And in my opinion, they have the front runner for the MVP right now, Matthew Stafford. This dude right here, 3 touchdown passes. He is an elite quarterback. He's an elite tier quarterback. He has been the best quarterback in the NFL this year, barring none. Debate with your mom, debate with anybody. Matthew Stafford has been the best quarterback in the NFL. And we thought coming to the season, oh my God, he has a bad back. Matthew Stafford's going to be limited. You know what Matthew Stafford did? He said, forget that. Let me watch this. And this dude is having easily the best season of his career. And it's funny. It's funny how when you surround a talented quarterback like Matthew Stafford with elite wide receivers, with a competent running game, and a really good offensive line and a really good play caller, look what happened. He looks like the best quarterback in the NFL. Like, it amazes me what happens when you put all this stuff with this elite quarterback and what he looks like. And it's amazing. This is the Rams team. bar none. There's nobody better than him. Nobody. And I'll let you speak on the both side. What's your thoughts on this game?
Uh, the Buccaneers, man, what a fall from grace. They started off the season red hot. Baker was getting MVP chance. Now now Baker is going to get maybe miss a few games, or maybe one game because he has an AC joint sprain in the shoulder. Um, yeah, it's. I knew this was coming down the pipe. I hate to be, oh yeah, look, I was right. Look at me, but like I said, that type of winning wasn't sustainable for them. Injuries was piling up. The defense is just that pass defense is god awful. I mean, good grief, Matt. It seemed like Matt Stafford and them. He could read a book in a pocket. He could make some tea. He could do whatever he wanted back there because the Bucks generated no pressure. I mean, what you going to do? I mean, and the Rams on the other, the Rams defense is very good. So Baker was over there running for his life. They couldn't really get much done. Emmanuel Forbes over here locking people up. Like, what is going on? That defensive coordinator they got over there is definitely going to get some head coaching nods this upcoming cycle. But yeah, man, like you said, I agree with you. The Rams are the best team in the NFL, let alone the NFC, to me right now. And yeah, they're just a really complete team.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. And the Buccaneers, they've been dealing with a lot of injuries this season, but even still, that defense is just not good enough. Luckily, they're in a bad division, so they can overcome certain things because who's competing in the NFC South? Nobody except the Panthers, and the Panthers are not a good football. So they can get away with certain stuff, but come playoff time, we already know we already know what time. They're not competing for no Super Bowl. And the Rams, they showed that there's levels to this. You are so much below us. We are so much above you and the rest of the competition. Matthew Stafford, I like. You know what, man? I want to give Matthew Stafford his flowers because so much time has passed where when he was on the line, he didn't get the credit that he deserved. It was only people that really knew the game and was really watching film knew how good Matthew Stafford was with the Lions, but he was never really able to show his true capability because the Lions were so bad. The organization was so dysfunctional, and he just wasn't able to really showcase his full capabilities. Now that he's with the Rams, he's just done a complete 180 in the way that people view him. Salute to Sean McVay. Salute to their GM in that organization because he went from just another really good QB for his time of his generation to now he's going to make the Hall of Fame. He's going to make the Hall of Fame with another Super Bowl. He's going to make the Hall of Fame, and with the MVP,
Easily.
he's going to make the Hall of Fame. And a lot of the media, a lot of the football guys are giving him his credit, mainly because now he has everything around him to finally be successful. We knew he was good, but now with everything around him, and now that he's completely mastered just the position in itself from pre-snap read to post-snap read, he is an elite tier QB, and I just want to give him his flowers because so long he has been just looked the other way, like people just disregarded him in the discussions for the best QBs in the NFL. But now he's in that discussion, and he beat Tom Brady in the playoffs for crying out loud. He beat Tom Brady. He beat Joe Burrow in the playoffs. Like that is an accomplishment in itself. And he already won a Super Bowl. You win two Super Bowls with an MVP. This dude, he's a legend. He is forever stamped in football history. Simple.
Yeah, Matt Stafford, man. It's funny because all the preseason concerned about his what was his back?
Yeah, I think it was
We
his
ain't heard
back.
nothing
Yeah,
about no back since the season started.
smoke screen, smoke screen. It was all lies. It was all
Yeah,
it was all
it was
fake
all a
news. It
farce.
was all farce. We were fooled. We were fooled. All
Well,
right,
I
let's move
wasn't
on.
fooled. They was fooled.
All right, let's move on. Real quick. New Orleans versus Atlanta. Don't really care too much about the game. These are two bad football teams, division rivals, division opponents. I picked the Falcons to win this game. I just think New Orleans is a dumpster fire right now,
Kellen
and
Moore is
simple as that.
terrible.
It's just simple as that. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, I don't even think I watched much of anything from this game. I don't even think I barely seen the game on Red Zone pop up. So whatever. I picked the Falcons because they had the better defense. That's literally the reason why I picked them.
Yeah, me too. Moving on, Jacksonville, Arizona. I picked Jacksonville to win this game. It was a close game,
Mhm.
went to overtime, but ultimately, I just think Jacksonville is the better team. They have the better talent on their squad, and I think they have the better head coach in Liam Cohen. And they won the game by the skin of their teeth. So,
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, he's done. I've seen enough.
oh,
He,
oh,
he's
really?
he's 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 exactly who I thought he was. Not that guy.
But you know what's funny? I said this like after week 3 or week 4. I said it's over. Like he's cooked.
You did say that.
Like I did. I literally posted a short and everything. Like, yeah, Trevor Lawrence. Like there's no saving him. He's done. Like you're not gonna fix him. We're in year 5. Like you're not gonna fix him. This is who he is. Simple as that. And funny enough, they're 7-4, which is crazy. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and you still win that game. That just lets you know that you're playing some pretty bad competition if you can win a football game throwing 3 interceptions. So not much else to really say on.
Yeah, he's just the most misused label of generational I've seen in quite some time. The man, good grief, I don't even want. I get mad talking about him because I was in them trenches back in 2022, 23, when people was like, "Oh, he's better than such." I'm like, no, y'all are not watching the games.
Better than Dak.
A bunch of dudes they say was better than Dak end up not being better than Dak. Who would have thought?
He's a top 10 QB. Like what? Huh?
At the
Top
one
10 in
year,
what?
he only had like
Huh?
25 passing TDs. He was top 10. Okay.
Oh, the worst take I've ever heard. He's better than Justin Herbert. I was like, you deserve to get smacked. You deserve to get smacked. He beat him in the playoffs. Like, bro,
Oh,
come
brother.
on. Oh my
Here
gosh.
you go with the
Like
QB wins foolishness.
you beat him in the playoffs. Like, no, you really need to get smacked. Like you're not watching the game how I'm watching the game. But it's whatever.
They
Moving
don't watch
on,
it.
moving on. Let's go to the Jets versus the Ravens now. It was a bit of a scare early. The Jets were winning the game. Ravens offense was looking very bad. I mean, they looked pretty much bad the entire game. But they were ultimately able to get it together and they won 23-10. Not much to really say. Ugly contest from the Baltimore Ravens offense. I will say Lamar has been playing up to his standards in the past few weeks. So I'm wondering when he'll finally get it together. 13 for 23 passing isn't very ideal for 153 yards. Not many rushing yards at all. He had 0 touchdowns. He had 0 interceptions. But for Lamar standards, we expect a lot more. It just seems like he wasn't up to snuff with this game, but they still won the game. Kudos to them against a bad Jets team. So yeah,
That Ravens offense is putrid. I don't know what's going on with Lamar. And them. Actually, it's clear Lamar is playing hurt because he's not even moving the same when he's trying to take off and run. He just looks like something is ailing him. And that Ravens offense, it needs help. It's just not good right now. They made the Jets look like they still had Quentin Williams and them on the team, and it was just nah.
hmm Okay, let's move on to Patriots versus the Bengals. And this is another game that was pretty close. I think at first the Bengals were up in this game, but Drake May being Drake May, the Patriots being the Patriots, they're able to win the game and they're able to prevail. And Drake May didn't have the greatest game in the world. He was 22 for 35 passing, one touchdown, one interception. But when he needed to make a play, he made the play, and they were able to get it together. They're really starting to give Travion Henderson the reins in the running game. It seems like what's his name, the coach. It seems like the coach is starting to listen to the fans and listen to the fantasy owners that, hey, that Travion Henderson guy you drafted in the second round, how about you give him the ball? He's very dynamic. And now they're giving him the ball, 18 carries, 66 yards. Didn't have the greatest yards per carry, but it seems like they're making a point of emphasis now of feeding him the ball. And Montre Stevenson, I don't know if it's because he's still dealing with injury or he's in the doghouse, but he only has 6 carries for 5 yards. Um, Hunter Henry had himself a day. He had 115 yards receiving, one touchdown, 7 receptions, and that's all he wrote. Uh, any thoughts on this game?
I didn't really get to see too. Actually, I saw bits and pieces of it. The Bengals just played them tougher than I thought, especially since they didn't have T. Higgins and they didn't have Jamar Chase. I thought the Pats was just going to blow them out, but Vegas made the call, so the Pats. Of course, it came down to the wire. The Pats, obviously, beneficiaries of having a weak schedule. They need a bona fide dude on offense, on at least receiving end. Stephon Diggs and them are cool, but you're going to need like a solidified number one guy in the future. It'll help Drake May's development as well. And Travion Henderson, I'm glad he's getting more touches and stuff because he was really a weapon coming out of Ohio State, and I'm surprised it took him this long to get him going because clearly he would. I thought he would have been a day one starter, but hey, salute to the Patriots. I guess they're 9-2, I believe. So
10-2.
10-2. Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, 10-2. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. What?
The pay. I was wondering who they got next week. Well, this week, I guess. Yeah. They have. It might be on bye week, or they already had their bye week.
They have a
Oh,
bye
the
week.
Giants.
Oh, they got the Giants. Yep. That should be them.
Yeah, the Giants are tough though, and Drake May takes a lot of sacks. So
All right, let's move on. Seattle versus the Tennessee Titans, closer than
another
I
game I thought,
think,
yeah,
closer than I thought. But hey, Seattle
Vegas
won
cleaned
as
up on the
expected.
spread betters.
Not too surprising. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's amazing. He's a top 5 receiver in my opinion. Might be top 3 in my opinion. He's having a historic season for the Seattle Seahawks. Not much really else to say. I haven't watched this game, so I really can't tell you much. But Seattle, they're still winning after losing to the Rams, and I think they're going to continue to win for weeks to come.
Um, I ain't really watched too much of this game either, but Cam Ward did look solid in this game. No turnovers against that great Seahawks defense. Um, had some good drives where they was able to get into scoring position and stuff. So hey, that even though the Titans lost, you can still count this as a positive for them because Cam Ward he's looking much better. He's looking much better. That was a good test against a very stout defense, and he didn't fold. So shout out Cam Ward.
All right, let's move on to the Monday night game, Carolina versus San Francisco. A bit of a scare for San Francisco because Brock Purdy was thinking up the joint. He had, I believe, 3 interceptions, which, oh my God. I wasn't watching this game, but I was looking at the group chat and y'all were killing Brock Purdy. Man, at one point I was hearing, put Mac Jones in the game. Brock Purdy is
It was
trash.
that bad at one point. It was
Yeah.
bad.
So
Whew,
talk to me.
this was a
Talk to me
nasty
about this
game.
game.
As you can see from the score 9-20, it was a nasty game. Both of these offenses did not look very good. The 49ers eventually was able to get a couple touchdowns, but it took a long time for them touchdowns to come. I tell you that much. Yeah, Brock Purdy, you paid him $265 million. You can't go out there and play like that. Point blank. Period. I don't care what people say. Oh, he was off game, nothing. That is unacceptable because it was bad, man. He was just making dumb decisions. Like I'm just being, he wasn't making good decisions this game, and it's bad. But shoot, Bryce Young was just as bad. Bryce Young looked terrible, and this is why I keep telling people he's not the guy. You want to hit your wagon to Bryce Young, so be it. But these are the type of games you can get from him. He stunk up the joint. And I don't know what kind of game plan Dave Canales was running, but why is your leading rusher only getting 6 carries? It's not like the 49ers got this elite run defense or anything. I don't know. I don't know what Dave Canales. People now turning their blame to Dave Canales because they say he's not calling good games. His play calling is weak. His situational play calling. Oh, and they say he's police coaching like a coward. They're not really calling anything deep or anything like that. But I'm like, maybe he's operating in the parameters of his personnel. I mean, what deep threat do they have on this roster? I mean, they don't really have players to like be aggressive with or be like risky with because outside of Tet, they have no legit. Like, how many would you be if would Xavier Lee get Jalen Coker even start on most teams?
No, they'd be backups easily.
So yeah, what I mean, he can only do what he like. People just refuse to give Bryce Young any accountability because he's playing somewhat better than what he was his first 2 years in the league. Like, bro, he's still not that good, y'all. Like, please open up your eyes. Like, y'all literally had Cam Newton in his prime and MVP years to look at it as an example of what good QB play looks like, and yet y'all still want to go to bat and clamor for this jag that you just took with the number 1 pick. I know you want him to work out so badly. You invested your franchise future into him, but I'm sorry, he's not the guy. But if you want to
He's
give him
not
more
the
time,
guy.
go ahead. If you want to, hey, go ahead. If you still want to be Bryce Young FC, go ahead. I'm just letting you know, your man, he doesn't have the goods. I'm sorry.
Well, I already told you what I think they should do. They should give him another year so they can get ready for the QB class of 2027. Because I don't think 2026 is going to be all that good. But 2027, potentially. So I would just give him another year. Shoot.
Yeah, I give him another year. Shoot,
Why
why
not?
not?
Why not?
And if they
Why
stink
not?
up the joint, they'll probably get rid of Dave Canales as well,
Mm-hmm.
and then bring a whole new staff with a new QB in.
Yep. Simple as that. Let's move on to the last game. The this was very surprising. I didn't think Buffalo was going to lose this game. The Bills versus the Texans. Now that Texan defense, you mentioned
I
it at the
I
beginning
picked
of the
I
episode.
picked I did. I picked the Texans to win this game simply because I knew they could do one thing very well. And even though James Cook actually had a good game,
He did. He did.
but if
Surprise.
you think
Hey,
about it, outside of that 45-yard run he had, you take that away from his 116. What's that like? 70 yards? It's not a great. It's not like a super great performance by James Cook standard the way he's been performing this year. And Josh Allen Josh Allen had 2 interceptions, no touchdown, no passing touchdown, no touchdowns at all actually. So yeah, it was a bad performance by his game, and this is what happens when you don't have any true threats at wide receivers. Khalil Shakir did all he could, but Khalil Shakir is like a wide receiver 3, wide receiver, or maybe a low end wide receiver 2. He's not supposed to be your number 1 receiver. And the Texans got after Josh Allen took 8 sacks for 70 yards. The Bills' offensive line was getting whooped on. I'm telling you, the Bills, they on fraud watch too.
It's becoming very evident what this Bills team is, and I keep repeating myself, but I said this before the season. I said this is not a very talented roster. It's a very mediocre roster. Josh Allen's going to have to put on that cape again, go Superman mode, and carry this team because I don't see the talent. And it's not beginning, it's exposing itself. We're finally saying, oh, no, this team isn't all that good. This team is being, they're putting makeup on a lot of the stuff. Josh Allen is putting makeup on a lot of the deficiencies of this team, from the receivers to even to a certain extent the defense, because he's covering up the fact that the defense isn't all that good. It's very middle of the package in certain statistics. So this Bills team, bro, like, are they going to make the playoffs? That's a good question. Are they going to make the playoffs? Because
I
they're in a
think
dogfight for one of these seeds in the wild card, and they're not too far off from being out of the playoffs.
I think they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll just get in, but I don't expect them to win more than one game. They might not even win one game, depending on who they match up against.
Well, I think they obviously beat Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is just they're a lost cause at this point. They play Cincinnati. I think they beat Cincinnati because they don't have much of a defense as good as Joe Burrow is. Their defense is just terrible. They play New England at New England. I think New England beats them. They
They
play
sweep them.
Cleveland. They play Cleveland. Now, I know Shador, he's a rookie, but that defense is nothing to sneeze at. So you got to keep watching that. And then they play Philly, which,
Oof.
as limited as their offense is, that defense is insane. And they play the Jets. Now the schedule isn't terrible. You got Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, the Jets. I mean, you got 3 games where I believe definitively they're going to win. And then Cleveland, to a certain extent, with the quarterback position and the limited offense, they could take advantage of Cleveland. But then you got 3 other games that you really have to worry about. I believe they'll make the playoffs. I think their schedule. I think Kansas City might have a harder schedule than because they play in the West. They play in the AFC West, so they're gonna have like they got Texans, they got Dallas coming up, they got Chargers, they got Denver. Yeah, so uh, it's gonna be interesting though. Down the stretch, who's gonna make the playoff between the Bills and the Chiefs?
They probably both end
All
up
right,
in because that's just how the NFL is.
all right. Well, let's get to the Thursday night football games, Thanksgiving games. We're getting close to that time. Thanksgiving is around the corner. Um, we actually have a really good slate of games this year, which is rare for Thanksgiving. Normally we get a bunch of scraps, but now we're getting that good stuff. Yeah, we're getting the mac and cheese. We're getting the good old fried chicken. We're getting some good stuff this year. Anywho, Thanksgiving we got Green Bay, Detroit, Kansas City, Dallas, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and then we also have the Black Friday game, which is Chicago and Philadelphia. So for Green Bay and Detroit, here's my thing. I think Detroit is going to be without Sam Laporta and Kirby Joseph. Those are massive losses for them. So with that being said, I believe I got the Packers this game. I know the Lions are the favorites. I think they're maybe 2.5, which is not that big of a gap, if I'm being honest, especially since Brian likes to always mention normally the home team gets 3 points.
Yeah,
So if they're only favored by like 2.5, then that just lets you know that is really a toss up, to be honest. And I just think with the way that these both teams have been playing, I believe that the Packers win this game. The Packers, they'll get back. Most likely, Matthew Golden will play. Josh Jacobs is definitely going to play. Quay Walker should be back for this game. Xavier Williams, one of the wide receivers, he's going to be out. I just think overall, the way that this defense has been playing for the, especially against the Giants team, and how how dysfunctional this offense can be because of their pass block from the offensive line. I'm concerned with this Lions offensive line and the fact that Frank Ragnow is coming back out of retirement because of how bad this offensive line has been in pass block lets you know just how dire the situation is. So I believe what's going to happen is that the key factor of this game is going to be, can the Packers defense stop Jahmyr Gibbs and that running attack? I believe that's the X factor of this game. That's going to be the biggest thing, biggest test. And I believe the Packers will do a good enough job of preventing Jahmyr Gibbs from going off. And I believe this Packers defense will be the highlight of this game. And I believe this Packers offense will score just enough points to win Thanksgiving. And by the way, Jordan Love on Thanksgiving, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he has a perfect record on Thanksgiving. If I'm not mistaken, Jordan Love, he don't normally lose on Thanksgiving, and I believe he's going to continue to win on Thanksgiving. And if you recall, he beat the Lions at Thanksgiving too. So I'm just saying, I think this is the year Packers sweep the Lions. Last year, did the Lions sweep? No, the Lions did sweep the Packers last year. I think we get our revenge. I think we get our get back. And I believe the Packers win this game.
Hmm. I'm gonna go with the dang. I'm gonna go with the Lions. I'm gonna go with the Lions because it's just hard for me to see that y'all sweep them because I feel like the Lions they're still a decent, pretty tough team to play against, and I don't believe Frank Ragnow is playing. I think that's just way too soon. I think he needs to still get in football shape and stuff. And this is a new offense, so it's not like it's the same Ben Johnson. He knows the play. He still got to adjust to some things, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions. I just think something will click for them offensively this game. It might not be like a super high scoring game. Maybe score maybe 21 points, something like that. But you guys, I think you may struggle on offense a little bit this game, especially because the Lions defense they're fairly stout. I think they're better than what they were when they played y'all week one. And Josh Jacobs is back for Thursday, which is good, but will he be fully 100%? That's a different story. And even though Emmanuel Wilson filled in pretty nicely against the Giants, but you should probably still give him plenty of touches. I'm gonna go with the Lions. I'm gonna trust the division split theory I had in the beginning of the year. I'm gonna go Lions.
Okay, that's fair. I think another thing that I'm really going to pay attention to in this game on the Packers side is the run block, specifically the right guard, with the thing between Anthony Belton and Jordan Morgan during the game against the Vikings. The Packers decided to bench Jordan Morgan for Anthony Belton, and Anthony Belton did a better job than Jordan Morgan as a run blocker. I don't know about it as a pass blocker, but as a run blocker, he was a lot more physical. I guess the extra size and pounds compared to Jordan Morgan. Jordan Morgan, I think he's like 6'5" or 6'4", while Anthony Bell he's 6'6", like 330. So maybe the extra size and strength um, was needed against the Vikings, and I can't wait to see how that looks against this Lions team if we're able to improve in the running attack with a new right guard, because Jordan Morgan this entire season has been very, very underwhelming as a pass and run block. So I'm curious to see how Anthony Belton looks if we were to have him start this game against a Lions team where they have some pretty decent pass rushers in obviously Aiden Hutchinson and Ayla McNeil. So like I'm curious how they're gonna look in that front. I think you do need some strength and some size against the Lions front, because to me that's their strength at this moment, because that secondary is all beat up and stuff like that. So you need to have the guys. You need to have some ballers. And what I've heard, Anthony Bell is a baller, which is good because we need a baller. So that's my takeaway from this game. It's not even necessarily Jordan Love. I know what Jordan Love. It's that. It's can we run the ball and can we stop the run? That's what I'm looking at this.
Yeah, you definitely will need to
All
stop the
right.
run.
Yeah. Let's move on to your Cowboys and the Chiefs. This is a fascinating matchup. Two teams that are fighting for the playoff lives. Uh, for me personally, I think I'm gonna go with the Chiefs this game. No disrespect to the Cowboys, they've done remarkable things this year, but I do think that the defense, as good as they played last game against Philly, I still have some trepidations, specifically the back end of that defense. You could probably talk a little bit more about the back end of that defense, but I'm gonna go with the Chiefs this game. I think the offense will get something going. I think they'll play a lot better. Well, not a lot better. They'll play a little bit better offensively, and I think Patrick Mahomes ultimately he'll make a play or two. I believe this will be a close game. I think this will be a fun, entertaining Thanksgiving game. I think ultimately the Chiefs, they'll walk away with like a field goal. I think it's a field goal game. Harrison Butker for the win, 27-24.
This man, I don't like this matchup at all. I hate we never beaten Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. We just never beat these. The Chiefs are always one of those teams that just have our number. Um, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs simply because I still need to see more performances from this defense to fully know that they have actually turned over a new leaf and got significantly better. Because the Raiders off, we all know the Raiders are horrible, and the Eagles offense has been inconsistent the entire year. So this will be the true test for the defense,
Cowboys
and
defense.
on the offensive side, I want to see how Steve Spagnuolo is going to attack Dak Prescott and that offense, because we got the dudes. We got the honestly, I like the matchups with between CD and Pickens versus McDuffie and um
Mhm.
the other corner, Jalen Watson, I believe. Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe it's still Jalen Watson. So yeah, but thing is that can struggle with interior pressure, and Chris Jones is still Chris Jones at the end of the day. I'm not too worried about the edge pressure. They don't really get a lot of edge pressure. Daniel Jones had 0 sacks. He didn't get sacked at all last week. So I'm not too worried about edge. It's just the interior pressure, man. That can struggle with that at times. But we all saw what Walter Nolan did to them in that Cardinals game. And we're missing Tyler Guyton, who was actually performing pretty solid this year. So we'll see about that. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs,
He
but I
ain't
will
playing this
say
game either. He ain't
who.
playing this game either. Tyler Guyton.
Yeah, yeah, because he got hurt last game. So yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So we're gonna be missing him. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. Think they squeak out one, probably by a field goal or so. I will say there is sharp money on Dallas because there was some line movement earlier. Like I think it got down to 2.5 at one point for the spread. So the sharps they put a little money on the Cowboys, which is interesting. But
I think I know why. I think I know why.
why you think that?
Well, if you look at the injury report, Trey Smith, he's going to be out with
Oh
the injury. He's out
yeah,
with the
that
ankle
is
injury.
true.
And Noah Gray, they like to use that two tight end package. He's going to
Yeah,
be out
no
with a concussion.
personnel. Yeah.
So now you're missing your arguably one of your top offensive linemen, and you're missing one of your best tight ends that you'd like to do tight end package with Kim and Kelsey, and Mahomes relies heavily on Noah Gray now. You're missing those two guys. That is going to limit what you can do offensively. So now they're
True.
really going to have to figure out a way to get some offense. I don't
I'm
know if they
expecting a
lean
lot of
more on
quick
the running
game.
game. Yeah, quick game. I don't know if they're going to rely more on that running game,
Good
but
luck.
y'all like it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be very hard, but I still got the Chiefs this game.
Yeah, I still got the Chiefs.
All right, let's move on to the last game on Thanksgiving. We got Bengals versus Ravens. Now, looking at the injury report, T. Higgins is going to be out. He is out with
Oh,
a concussion. Trey Hendrickson is out with a hip slash pelvis. Jermaine Burton, he's out with the ankle. Taj Brooks, he's out with concussion, but he's back from that. But Joe Burrow is back, which is cool. That's great. Get to see Joe Burrow. And Jamar Chase, but no T. Higgins. That's a bit of a bummer. On the Ravens side of things, Justice Hill is going to be out. Um, and a defensive tackle, Brian, he's going to be out. But that's about it. Everybody else is relatively healthy. I have the Ravens winning this game. I just think they're the more talented team. They have the better defense. They have the better quarterback in this scenario. Joe Burrow's first game back, and the Ravens, they own the Bengals. Like they
yeah.
ever since Joe Burrow has been the quarterback for the Bengals and Lamar Jackson has been the quarterback for the Ravens don't lose to the Bengals, especially at home. So give me the Bengals this game.
Yeah, I feel like this is the game where the Ravens offense clicks because the Bengals defense is literally just that bad. And yeah, that's pretty much all it is to it. The Bengals defense is so bad. And I feel like the Ravens will just Derrick Henry may go for 150 yards or something, man, because it's a get right game for that offense because they looked horrible against the Jets.
Yep, yep, yep. Moving on to the Black Friday game, we got the Bears versus the Eagles. Two 8-3 teams, two flawed teams in itself. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I just think that their defense is too good. And that Bears defense can be had, although the Eagles offense is very limited. They're not gonna have Lane Johnson. I just think overall, because of their experience, because of that defense, it's going to rattle the Bears' offense and it's going to rattle Caleb Williams so much so that it's going to just give the Eagles good field position, good opportunities to score, and I just think ultimately the Eagles will win this game.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles. I think the defense is going to win the matchup versus the Bears offense. If Caleb Williams is going to think he about to come up here and be all inaccurate and miss, be late on throws and stuff, it's not going to end well for him.
Yep, yep. All right, that'll do it for the picks for Thanksgiving and Black Friday. We're going to our last segment of the day. Brian, who are you saluting?
Week 12 salute segment. First on the list, we got Jackson Smith and Jigba making Seahawks history as the leading all time in a single season for receiving yards. Jackson Smith-Jigba, he had 8 catches, 167 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the win versus the Titans. Hey, Jackson Smith-Jigba, he's creeping into that top 3 wide receiver in the league conversation. Next on this, we got Jahmyr Gibbs, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, 45 receiving yards, and he also got a receiving touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs looking solidifying himself as a top 2 or 3 RB in the league against the Giants. Third on the list, we got Matt Stafford. Can somebody say MVP going against the Buccaneers on primetime Sunday night football, demolishing them boys. 225 for 35, 237 passing yards, and 3 touchdowns, looking like the best team in the NFL. So just to recap, we got Jackson Smith-Jigba making history, Jahmyr Gibbs toting the rock being efficient, and Matt Stafford solidifying his case for MVP. Salute.
All right, that'll do it for this episode of the podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, and we will see you all on the next episode of the Courtside Podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Salute.